Hi everyone, it's Lisa with InkandInspirations.com. Thanks for tuning in today. When I first saw the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog last spring, there were a couple of stamp sets or bundles that I knew I was going to add to my collection first thing. And this World of Good suite is one of them. Oh my goodness, I love the paper, I love the feel, and I am just have a weakness for stamp sets with the globes or maps, and I love the font of these sentiments. And so today's card, I'm going to be making one. It's a fairly simple design. In fact, it's one that I challenged my STARS team of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators to create a card with this same recipe, and it's just so much fun to see all the different cards that can come out of one set of measurements of cardstocks. So this was one of my samples, and I'm using the World Map dies. I'll be using this globe, okay, this particular one here, and then the Beautiful World stamp set, which this comes as a bundle for 10% off, and I'm using You Make the World a Better Place sentiment. So for our cardstock, I started with a base, and this one is crushed curry, 5.5 by 8.5. And then I have a piece of early espresso cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. This beautiful World of Good specialty designer paper. And this is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have a piece of early espresso that is cut at 2 5/8 by 4 1/8, I believe. Let me double check that. Yes, it is. And I have already embossed that with this Old World paper 3D embossing folder. Love that look. And then I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock. This is cut at 2.5 by 4. And then I used about a 3 by 3 piece of gold foil from the annual catalog to cut this globe map out. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and work with the base first, okay? So I'm going to fold this in half and match the corners, and then get a bone folder and give it a good crease. Okay, so now I'm going to take these next two pieces, which is the early espresso and then the designer paper, and that is going to layer right over top. And I'll use some liquid glue on this designer paper, and we'll leave that little bitty border around the edge. And then there isn't any ribbon or anything going on this particular card, so I'm going to go ahead and put this down on the card front, and then we'll build up from there. So this particular bundle makes great cards for anybody, but especially, you know, if I need a card for a guy to send, or a young man that's graduating, this is great. And of course, I'll send these to just anybody because I think it's absolutely beautiful. So let me take my Whisper White, and I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper because I'm going to do some brayering. So I've got our sponge foam brayer here, and it comes with different little sponges that you can use, but you can wash these and use them with different colors. It works fine. And I'll tell you what my dilemma was here. I asked my team to use either Whisper White or Very Vanilla on their card. And so when I did this, it was just too stark of white to me for the look that I wanted. So I thought, how can I get and use this same Whisper White? And I thought, let me brayer it and give it some color. So I'm going to open up my Crushed Curry ink pad, and then I'm just going to get some ink here on the foam roller brush, and then I'm going to start off on the scratch paper and then start just layering the color on. And you can leave it as light as you want. I want some rich color, so I'm going to give it some layers here. This is so fun to do. Okay, now I'm going to start concentrating and really deepening up some of this color since I have a good coverage all over. Put a little ink, more ink on, and oh, I like that. So pretty. All right. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. And I don't need the crushed curry ink anymore. So now I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment on here, which is you make the world a better place. And let me ink this up with Early Espresso ink. All right, and straighten that up on my grid sheet, and I want it here toward the bottom. Okay, that looks good. So now I thought I want that kind of old world feel. So what I did first is I need this again, and I'm going to get a sponge dauber and ink up these edges. And so this is exactly what I did. I went through around on these straight edges and just inked it up where it looked like it had fallen in an ink pad or got some ink around the edges or aged. And I thought, okay, that's still a little not what I want. So then what I did is I just started ripping. And I've ripped all 4 corners. And it's going to be different every time you do it, so don't stress about it. And then I kind of roughed up the edges a little bit with my fingernail. And you could do it with your scissors and save your nails. So let me just kind of rough that up a little bit. Then I went back with the sponge dauber. And I started off with just tearing 2 corners, and I thought, no, I'm going to do all 4 of them. So there, I like that. And let's see what we got here. I'm going to angle that, put that like that, and then my globe is somewhere that I cut. Here it is. So, and I'm just going to put that, isn't that pretty? I love this foil, and it's on the designer paper too, and it's just beautiful. So I'm just putting on just some scant little not pieces, but little smears of and I'm going to angle it like that. Then let's go ahead and put this down. And then I'm going to angle this that way. I think I'm going to use dimensionals on this. So let me get some out. And I think I'll use my black since this is dark. So let's do the 4 corners and maybe one in the middle. So here we go. So this particular suite also has the memories and more cards that are beautiful for memory keeping or scrapbooking, either the pocket page style or traditional. And I plan to use mine for probably my Greece trip from last 2 years ago. Or it was just a year ago, wasn't it? A year and a half ago. So anyway, there you go. And here's the other one. And what I'll do is I'll finish off the inside of the card. I will probably put maybe another layer of crushed curry, or even do another braided piece of the Whisper White on the inside and stamp the sentiment. I think I'll use, you make the world a better place. Thank you for being part of mine. I like that. Okay. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. Visit my website at inkandinspirations.com. Thanks so much for joining me. Be sure you click subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.